Ask the trainer anything at all.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Ask the Trainer. I'm Christian Leach with ChrisFit, and today's question comes from Jen from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, world. And Jen asks, Christian, I get headaches when I do my back and upper body exercises. How can I stop gripping with my neck? That's a great question, Jen, and it's not an uncommon problem to have these neck muscles, the traps, scalene, sternocleidomastoid, all those fancy terms, to tighten up when you're doing your pulling exercises in particular. So the two things I would suggest doing is, number one, try and get some of those muscles and surrounding muscles to loosen up before you start to do the exercises. And number two, try and get some of the lower trapezius posture muscles to activate while you're doing the exercises. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is a couple of things to do to get those muscles to loosen up. One thing you can do before you start your upper body and your back workouts is to do some lacrosse ball rolling against the wall. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, you can pick one up at a sports store, Sport Check, or somewhere like that. Or if you know someone who plays lacrosse, you can invite yourself over to the house and just steal a ball from them. Anyways, so you want to grab the ball, put it between your upper back and the wall. You're going to fold your arms across your chest. And if you're pretty tight up there, you're just going to start gently putting a little bit of body weight into that ball as you're rolling, looking for some tight spots. Moving along the length of the shoulder blade. You're going to have to move forward a little bit and let that ball drop just a hair. Rolling. If you find a really tight spot, you want to hold 20 seconds or so. Breathe through it. Find a happy place. 1 to 2 minutes per side at the start of your workout should help to start to release some of that tension before you even start the workout. Now, next thing I'm going to show you is a chest stretch and a Doorframe chest stretch. All right, another thing you can do to loosen up those muscles is to actually try and stretch the chest muscles, particularly the pec minor muscle. Often when we see tight upper traps, we see tight pec minors and vice versa. So this is a Doorframe chest stretch. You want to stand with your forearm and hand resting on a door frame at a 90-degree angle, and then I would take it up 10 to 15 degrees from there. Then you want to step forward with the same leg and lean into it. Feel that stretch to the armpit and into the chest. Hold that for a minute or so per side, 1 to 2 times per side after you've done the foam rolling. And then you should be ready to start activating those lower traps. Okay, now that we've shown you a few things to loosen up that area there, we want to talk about exercise technique. The simple rule for you right now is going to be try to avoid shrugging as much as you can, particularly when you're doing your pulling exercises, but also even when you're doing a chest press or a shoulder press or a lateral raise. Try to avoid shrugging. I'm going to use the example of a seated row here. So let's say you're in the seated row machine, you got that V-shaped handle in your hands. You may be tempted, because it sounds like you might be tight up in here, to pull upwards and shrug as you pull. We really want to avoid doing that. What you want to think about when you're doing the seated row is grab that handle, keep your shoulder blades down, set those shoulder blades down, upright chest, upright chin, and then you're going to pull that handle in towards your rib cage, keeping your elbows tucked in, and then you're going to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Let your arms straighten and then pull, retract, and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Try to really avoid the temptation to shrug. We'll also use the example, let's say a supinated underhand grip lat pull down. When you're doing that lat pull down, you want to pull to a big chest, squeezing those shoulder blades back and down. If you pull too low on a lat pull down, you're going to start to shrug and feed into that problem again. So again, really focus on squeezing those shoulder blades together and avoiding the temptation to shrug. If you do that for the next few weeks, you should start to notice these lower traps firing and a little bit of pressure taken off these upper traps. Thanks again for the question. Keep them coming.